And back again with the 4th Street Sports Show. I am Jackson Kennedy, and this is Dima Mixon, and we are here to talk about the quarterback battle. Because, as it was mentioned in Sunbelt Media Day, which if you haven't watched it, you should really watch our coverage on that. But just like Will Hall said, it is between Holman Edwards and Billy Wiles. However, there have been a lot of other quarterbacks that have shown a lot of promise, a lot of talent, and there have been some surprises. So, Dima, just kind of break down and just kind of talk with us about this quarterback battle.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that the reason they're breaking in so many other quarterbacks is because they feel like they need them, because for the past 2 years they haven't had a quarterback. Billy Wiles was first in QB drills in the first part of practice that we saw, followed by Holman Edwards. And then when they ran kind of team drills with the running backs, it was Billy with Frank, Holman with Kenyon to start the drills. Then they kind of rotated them in and out at the toward the end drills. But I always say the starting of the drill is kind of like what you always start with what's going to be a thing. So. And then later on, Billy Wiles started when they ran 11 on 11 with Frank Gore Jr., and then Holman was after him. And then they switched it up, and Holman went with the ones. So I think they're still trying to figure it out. As far as who I thought was better today, I think Holman was. I didn't see that many great passes from Billy. Might have just been an off day for him. Felt like Holman was able to put some passes in the needle there that they haven't had in the past. But personally, if I had to pick one who I thought looked the best today, it was Ethan Crawford, the freshman. It looks like he's going to be that third guy, believe it or not, because he was always the third guy up. And regardless of whether or not they were switching out Holman and Billy in team drills, Ethan was always the third guy. So I thought it looked great. He had some great deep throws. Zach Wilkie, I think, had the best deep throw to Chandler Pittman. He had like a one-handed back arm catch. It was pretty cool. So like Jackson said, this is day one. So, you're not going to have that much data. You'll see more development in the next few weeks. But as far as who came out on top today, I'd say Holman as far as the battle of the two. But I really think Ethan Crawford looked good, which I think is encouraging to Southern Miss fans, because heaven forbid that this all happens again, where you have to go through quarterbacks. They got 6 guys in the room. So they go through 6 guys. I think the football gods just hate them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If we see Southern Miss cycle through 15 quarterbacks again, you will see me and Dima on the field after games, and we will have pulled all of our hair out and just manically talking into a microphone that's not even there, which, God forbid that happens. And with the talented offensive line, I don't want to speak this into existence, but it's hard to imagine that it will. There are 17 scholarship offensive linemen, 3 full rotations, and kind of getting to stand next to these guys. I'm 6'1". I'm not like the most built, but these guys are big. They're big, they're strong, they're talented. O-line was huge. And, just kind of speaking on what Dima was saying, Ethan Crawford, I didn't even know this, but in the last game of his high school season, so last fall, he tore his ACL in his final game. But he looked fluid. He looked like good. Nothing had happened. The guy was made of Teflon, and his running, his throws, his reads, they were all incredible, especially for a true freshman at his first fall camp, And, speaking more on that, so Billy Wiles, like Dima said, he did get the start. He started with the ones at the start of practice. But on this field, which is kind of like the secondary field that they were using, they kind of ran longer drills where guys got 4 to 5 snaps, stuff like that. And so Holman started, and then it was Billy, and then it was Ethan, and then it was Zach. And then they went back to Holman. And instead of getting the 4 to 5 plays, Holman ran anywhere from like 9 to 10, maybe 12. Dean was sitting over with Andrew Abity, and I was just kind of watching here with some guys from the Super Talk Eagle Hour. He ran a full drive. And the first play, like I mentioned on just our instant reactions, absolute dot all the way down left side. It was about like a 40, 50-yard pass and right to Brandon Hayes. And he had maybe 1 or 2 broken up passes, but his way of being able to get through his reads, it wasn't really on Holman. It was just the secondary, which we were unsure about because there's a lot of unproven things. Of course, we've had a couple guys that we have seen on the staff. They've played meaningful minutes, like Will Hall said, but there's not that much experience, especially compared to last year. But they were electric. But Holman got that 10, 12 play drive, and we were thinking, okay, maybe they're going to do that for everybody else. But no, the practice ended. So Holman ended up with the most time. So that was the most data that we were able to collect. But he really, really looked locked in.
Yeah, I think if it's between them two, I think Holman definitely looked better today, and it might change. Like tomorrow when I come back, it might be Billy's day, But it's just so hard to gauge when they're not running pads, and so that's kind of why Will Hall says I hate pads, and we're going to play real football on Friday and all that stuff. So, it is what it is. If we had to pick a winner from today of day one of a 3-week camp, then yes, I would say Holman, but. There's multiple practices left, and Will Hall's going to name a starter. And once he names a starter, then you'll see a lot of the rotation on the quarterback room. But I know it's important because you care. So we want to mark it down when we come and say that Holman won today. I would say Holman won today.
Absolutely, no doubt. And Holman won. Billy was a close second. He made a couple great passes, and there were just a couple missed reads, but that even came from everybody. Holman even had missed reads. He was the first one. He was the first one to throw a pick, and that was near the start of practice. And then, as soon as
dropped. It wasn't really a pick.
Yeah, it was nearly one. It was
in his hands.
He was throwing it to a guy. Defender came right up there and just straight to him in his hands, but he dropped it. But it's just really interesting to see. It's going to be, you just stay tuned. Dima and I are going to be covering this QB battle because you as the fans are very much going to want to watch it, and us as reporters, we're very much going to want to cover it because this could determine, the style of offense. This could determine how Southern Miss plays and especially how they will fare.
Yeah, for sure, definitely, it's important.
And so anyways, this has been our second video. Make sure to watch our instant reaction if you haven't already. And stay tuned because we are going to be talking about our biggest one takeaway from day one of practice. So for Dima Mixon, I'm Jackson Kennedy, and you've just watched the 4th Street Sports Show.